10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1,
United have
0.
reached the promised land.
Well, good morning, everybody. Don't know why I sang that, but how are we doing, everyone? It's Monday, the 20th of June. No, we've not signed a player yet, but I tell you what, things are really going to start going crazy because we keep waiting and waiting. When it does happen and the floodgates open, it really will start being a floodgate. I keep telling you, everything, I need to turn my phone over. My phone is over now and people can't distract me. They seem to message me the exact second I go live, the spiteful bastard. But look, how are you all doing? Hope you had a cracking weekend. It's a busy show today. And I know I say that before every show because they are busy, every single one of them. But today, with everything that happened over the weekend, and I will speak about this in depth later on in the show, I will go into more detail about the Richard Arnold conversations that happened after protesters turned out. Well, we're going to his house, but got stopped at the pub. I want to speak about that more later in the show. I've done a video yesterday with my full reaction on it. I'll be interested to have a conversation with you in the comments, hear your opinions on what you think about that, on the videos being leaked, on the conversations that happened. We'll speak about that a little bit later. The main focus, of course, is going to be transfers. It's going to be signings, of course, something that Richard Arnold spoke about in that conversation. Frenkie de Jong is the leading story. I'm not here to repeat news that you already know. I'm here to bring you as many updates as I possibly can. One from Spain this morning and the latest from Fabrizio yesterday on Frenkie de Jong. It's got to get done this week, surely. It has to get done this week. We're going to speak about Yuri and Timber. Developments over the weekend about him looking like he's going to be staying at Ajax. What does that mean for United as from a centre-back perspective? Maybe we're going to look elsewhere. Maybe you can look at his partner, Lisandro Martinez. We're going to speak about reports from Mike Vivage from De Telegraph this morning. The Man United are going to be in for him. About Christian Eriksen, we'll speak about him too. Dean Henderson, Erik Bay. Geez, there's loads and loads to discuss yet. Jeff, I've done a video on this. Like I think I titled it. I took a look at Gary Neville's perspective and I used that as the leading talking point. It's not a time to panic, but it's a time for United to just pull their finger out and start getting things done. I'm not talking about talks, not talking about offers that are low ball offers that are going to get rejected. There is no time to waste anymore. We've wasted any time that we could have wasted. And we can't do that anymore. Who's down here in the comments? There's loads and loads of members. T, I can see you there. And Josh, as always. Lelanjan, I can see you there. Daisy, I can see you too. Bjorna, good morning to you. Sigmund, as always. Jason, Simon, Dave, Sanka, Anthony. It's wicked. I love the community that's getting grown here. I really genuinely do. From the bottom of my heart, I think the community's got integrity, and that's a big thing for me. Yeah. But let's talk it through. I always take Saturday and Sunday off from the morning live streams unless something crazy happens, and then I will come with the updates for you. But the biggest story this weekend was, of course, everything that happened with Richard Arnold, and I will wait till later in the show. Let's just run through everything with transfers because it's the 20th of June now. Erik Ten Hag is coming back in 7 days. He's coming back in 7 days. You know how quickly that has gone? Or maybe it hasn't gone quickly. Maybe it's gone really slowly. I don't know, but it feels a bit quick. From when Erik Ten Hag came in, had that press conference, sat down, carried that measure about himself. You looked, I was like, yeah, cool. Everyone was buzzing. And now, 7 days' time, he's back at the club with no new signings. Now, Frenkie de Jong is obviously where Manchester United have been spending the majority of their time. We know that first bid went in, not Friday just gone, the Friday before. And I did a video during the week saying, look, this is where I felt that the frustration among United fans last week was, in my opinion, a little bit over-exaggerated with everything that's going on with Frenkie de Jong. I felt like it was a little bit over the top, that we still had time on our hands. But I said last week was when I wanted to see a change in United's strategy. Because what we'd previously done in windows is wait way too long between two bids. And I'll be like, well, what's the point? Just get it done. Get it done early. Now, we haven't done that last week. So my frustration is definitely starting to teeter. I don't know what way to describe it. But I'm getting far more frustrated now. Because of that extra week of negotiations without the second bid going in, it's like, what are you doing, guys? Why are you wasting your time? Now, this is what Fabrizio has said, the latest on de Jong. And this was from, was it yesterday? Yeah, it's from yesterday. Yesterday evening at 10 p.m. So this is what he said, I think the day before. He said, look, Manchester United are internally discussing about submitting a new proposal. Brilliantly. Yeah, great. Can you stop with the internal discussions and start putting put that second bid in? He's saying more on the Frenkie de Jong situation. United feel direct talks next week will be really important with a fresh bid being considered. I think Fabrizio is just sort of sitting on the fence there when he's talking about it being considered. Ladies and gents, if that, I would probably go as far as to say if the second bid doesn't go in this week, you may as well just end it. What's the point? How can there possibly be 2 weeks between our first bid going in and a second bid going in? Now, the one thing to remember, which I think is quite an important point, which I'll be honest, I don't think we've really discussed too much, is Frenkie de Jong and when he'd actually join Manchester United. If, hypothetically, of course, it goes through. I don't think he'll join until the second week. Is it 2 weeks after pre-season starts? Because obviously he was away on international duty with Holland at the UEFA Nations League, which means that his holiday started late, which means that Frenkie de Jong wouldn't be joining Manchester United on the 27th of June. He may only just make it in time for the pre-season to start. I don't know what the deadlines and the dates are on that, but maybe that's why we've not been in as much of a rush as fans have been. But what's the fucking point in waiting anymore? Look, Josh, you're saying, honestly, if we haven't put a bid in by Wednesday, we should just move on. I don't think that will happen. I think we will just drag it out until we get it done. But at this point, there's no point in dragging the whole thing out. And if you want to go back towards the Richard Arnold situation, let me pull the video up here. Actually, no. Let me say this. No, I'll say it later on as well. I don't like the fact that these videos were leaked. I don't like the fact that these videos came out. They're out now. They're in the public space. So for me to bring this video on screen I don't condone the fact that this was filmed covertly, because I think it really fucking undermines the good work that I think the 1958 have done to this point to allow that these conversations can actually exist. And at the first opportunity, somebody has filmed these videos and put them on social media and massively, massively undermined the whole concept of the 1958, of building this trust, of building integrity, of building something that you can lead to something better. But the videos are out now. They're in the public eye. So the fact that I'm bringing it on screen here doesn't necessarily mean I completely condone the fact that the video has been released, but it has been released. So let's talk about it, right? I suppose that's the purpose of it. But this is what Richard Arnold said when he was asked about the De Jong situation, about the transfer budget of Manchester United this summer.
And again, money is not a consideration in who we want. It is the manager wants him, that they've actually done the work on looking at it. He's a great player. And again, is it 100? Is it 200? I don't know. They've got to get who you
Is it going to be down on top of this 200?
Right?
Is it going to be down?
No. Again, should you not? Do you want me buying the players? Doesn't that ring a bell? Right?
So he's saying there that the money is there for John Murtough and is there for Erik Ten Hag. And that little jibe at the end there, yeah, you should be remembered. Richard Arnold, he's been delegating so far. And I'll speak about it further down the line in the show, but it shouldn't be up to him to make the signings, really, should it? If he's delegating properly, it's down to Erik Ten Hag and it's down to John Murtough. So if the money is there, then what the fuck are United waiting for, right? What are we waiting for? That's what I want to know. Delicate, you're saying De Jong doesn't need a Ten Hag 2-week crash course to learn what will be asked of him. If it's okay, of course, yeah. In that sense, he will take far, far less time to settle into it than anybody else. That's true. Mark, you're saying it's getting embarrassing. These lines led by donkeys. It is getting embarrassing because of what everybody else is doing around us. And it's frustrating. It's extremely frustrating for United fans. But I'll tell you what, man, at some point, look, I still remain utterly convinced. And again, you might consider me naive to say this, but I don't know. I've got faith that the changes, and I tell you what, you might disagree with this. I think Richard Arnold presented himself pretty damn well in that conversation. I liked his tone. I liked how he spoke. I liked it. I think he came off pretty well there. And to think that a man like that is in charge, is at the helm of us instead of Ed Woodward, fills me with a bit of hope about the direction we're going towards. But shit's got to get done. Ultimately, actions speak louder than words. We've got the money, do we, Richard? Cool. Let's see it on the table. We're hearing reports from Spain today. Let me pull this one up on screen for you quickly. Seems to have... There we go. Right. So this is coming from Mundo Deportivo in Spain this morning. It's saying this. So the Manchester United already have a new offer for Frenkie de Jong, and that's going to be in the region of 75 million euros plus variables. Kevin, I see you joining there as a member, mate. Let me know where you're watching from. I'll try and give you a shout out as we go on. But 75 million euros is still a little bit under what they want for Frenkie de Jong. Would you imagine that would be accepted? You let me know in the comments, right? You let me know in the comments what you think about this second bid. Is this second bid going to be the one that gets us Frenkie de Jong? Or is it still going to be United just slowly creeping towards that price that Barcelona want? And it's going to be another bid that's rejected. You let me know what you think about that down there. Roxy, watching from Ireland, good morning to you, my friend. Stephen, as I said, let's wait until a little bit later in the show, everyone. I know that I've talked about Richard Arnold there and I've brought it up, so it's my fault. But I really want to speak to you all about it in the comments. I think it's such a significant moment. It really, really is. We've got our CEO down the pub buying United fans pints and having a conversation for an hour and a half. You know what Ed Woodward did? Well, Ed Woodward wasn't in his house. I'll speak about it later. I really will speak about it later. Matt, you're saying my faith is waning. Of course, everyone's faith is waning a little bit, but I don't know. It's because it's what I want, right? So I want it to be true that Manchester United have sort of switched it up this year, switched it up this summer, and we're going to get shit done, and we're not going to be an embarrassment. So maybe I'm blinding myself towards that truth, if you know what I mean. Maybe I'm skewing my own narrative. But I just feel that everything that went on behind the scenes this summer, we can't surely just repeat the same mistakes again this summer in the transfer market. That's what you think. Red Devils, let me know where you're watching from, buddy. Love to have you part of the family, man. The family's grown. It's really, this community is so cool, man. It really is. Neil and Jen saying, if money is there, let's give them 85. No more delays. We're already fed up. And that is a point, man. That is a point that I think a lot of fans have. And you're saying, no, I don't think so. In fact, I don't think they have any intention of sending it. I don't know who you're talking to, me or someone else there. Sorry, and I didn't really understand that comment. What's that going on there? Saying Fred Sam, will the video being released jeopardize Murdoch's position? Again, everyone, save your questions and your comments about Richard Arnold for a little bit later in the show. I won't answer any more comments on it now until we get through all the transfer news, because there really is a lot of stuff. I'm going to be getting on to Lisandro Martinez handy. Don't worry about that. But the Frenkie de Jong situation is clear. That second bid's going in this week. That second bid is going in this week, right? I don't really see the point of United. As I said, if we go back to this report from Spain here, United going in with 75 million plus variables. Are you just, at that point, are you just trying to piss Barcelona off? Are you just trying to piss them off? If they want 80, is it 85? And you're going to, again, 5 million. There is a value in time. I told you that's the commodity that Manchester United don't really understand. It's just not really part of the conversation, really. It's just take as long as you want, as long as you get the deal done. That's all that matters. But that's not completely and utterly true. Shane, you're saying, look, United are building a team around de Jong. That's why everything is being held up. This is what they should have done with Pogba. Of course, yeah. Look, geez, Pogba. I'd rather talk about Pogba than Richard Arnold right now. But we know, in fact, no, I'm not going to give any airtime to Pogba. That's what I said before. But yeah, I don't think we particularly matched that signing by building a team around him. But de Jong, he's a system player. He's going to be our first system signing. The sort of thing like when players are signed for Klopp's Liverpool, they are signed for a reason. When players are signed for Guardiola's City, they are signed for a reason and a specific role to do something. And everybody knows there's clarity on that role. And de Jong, I've told you, I understand why Manchester United have put him as utter number one. There is no complete alternative to Frenkie de Jong. Not with the experience he's got, the knowledge he's got, the education he's had at Ajax, with Ten Hag, at Barca. Nobody has the same CV as de Jong in terms of what United need and what Ten Hag wants. And that's why we have just lasered in and focused on him. And I think that second bid going in, was it 75? I'm like, what's the point? What is the point? Go in at 80 million, man. Stop it. At this point, I just stop it. Get it done. Arnold, nice to see you there, joining as a member again, Doc, after a little time off. Dave is saying, look, let's remember we paid 80 million for Maguire. Of course, I know that, Dave, and you're not wrong. But the fact that we overpaid for Maguire doesn't really have an impact on this one. I don't think anyway. Because you can always try and pull that situation up if you want. And it will always be right, really. But going across to what the murmurs from Holland are, in terms of how Manchester United's transfer inactivity is being perceived. This is what Mike Vivage said in an article that he released last night on The Telegraph. And this is an important one because it gives us insight. As I said, Mike always was the first on the pulse, had his finger on the pulse when it came to the Ten Hag to United story. So he's obviously got his sources close to him still. Aaron, you're watching as well. Nice to see you there joining as a member. Where are you watching from? All the new members, I'm trying to spot your names down here in the comments, but I can't see them just yet. Let me see if anybody else down here has. There you go. Red Devil's watching from Q8. Nice to see you there, buddy. I can't see any of the other one. So if you join as a member, let me try and give you a shout out by leaving a comment down there, and I will. But look, this is what Mike Vivage said on Ten Hag, on the signings he wants, and the midfield he's trying to build. He said Frenkie de Jong and Christian Eriksen are the names that are highest on the list of Erik Ten Hag, and these are his number one priorities. Erik Ten Hag has explained to Manchester United that the arrival of these players is crucial for his style of play. Now, what's your reaction to that? What's your feelings on that? Because Christian Eriksen, it's not really a player. Let's be completely honest. It's not really a player that any of us at the start of the summer would have gone, he's a priority. He is the man who can change it all. We all look at him and go, if we let Mata go for a free and get Christian Eriksen, that's probably a big upgrade. That's kind of how we looked at it. And of course, Christian Eriksen, Spurs are in conversations with him. He's got his history with Spurs. Could very much just go to Spurs. It's on a free transfer. Depends what project he wants to be part of. Joseph, I can see you down there again, my friend. I saw Troy watching from Malaysia. Nice to see you there watching from Malaysia, Troy. Joseph, you're saying this, they say, I know we speak about paying the 85 million up front and securing De Jong, but I sense that extra 10 mil might make a significant difference to another key signing that Erik Ten Hag wants. Well, you might be right there, Joseph. By the way, Joe, you might not have known last week, but I decided to give this to you. I don't think you haven't reached out to me yet. I've got plenty of these to give away, and you've been supporting the channel, so I wanted to say thank you. I'm going to give this to you, so make sure you slide into my DMs on Twitter or Instagram. Give me your address, and I'll get this posted out to you. But thank you for the continued support, buddy, and I hope you're feeling better. But look, I don't know whether that 10 million is going to make the utter difference to Manchester United transfer. I like to think it wouldn't. But then when it comes to selling Eric Bailly or Phil Jones, Andreas Pereira, Dean Henderson, Anthony Martial, there's plenty of money to be raised there instead of haggling on another player coming in. And that's where you're getting the money from. That's wrong. But Christian Eriksen, I don't personally think that... I'm going to do a video on it later today, right? I've already decided. My video today, this afternoon, is going to be, right, okay, if De Jong and Eriksen really are the two main priorities for Erik Ten Hag, and what's our midfield going to look like next season? How will it operate with De Jong alongside Eriksen? You're looking at that, it's going to have some sort of weakness when it comes to out of possession. I feel in possession, you've got two brilliant ball-playing central midfielders. We will transform our ability on the ball, but off the ball, how good would it be? That would be the question I want to ask in that video. Red Devil, sir, what are you saying? You're saying it's surprising that Timber doesn't want to risk joining United and not being started when he will be fighting for his position with Harry Maguire. We've got no confidence in him. That was the next talking point. Let's bring it up here. And this is the story that we've seen over the weekend about Yuri and Timber. Marcel van der Kraan, of course, writes to the Telegraph as well. He's saying that Timber said, boss, I can't come with you to United. My Holland place is more important, and now Ajax have jumped and offered a new deal. So he's basically saying that the Timber Ajax deal is dead in the water. What's your initial reaction to that? Some of you, I know how it's going to go. Some of you are going to be angry. Some of you are going to be angry towards Louis van Gaal as well, towards the fact that he's, I suppose, spoken in Yuri and Timber's ear and influenced what could have been a very important and influential signing for Manchester United. Instead of it happening, It looks like he's going to be staying there. Estevao, you're saying replacing Pogba, Mata and Matic with Eriksen and Frenkie de Jong. It's clear that Ten Hag wants to increase the tempo of our midfield. Absolutely it is, but it also doesn't, in my opinion, complete that midfield. There's still not that person you can rely on, like, to win the scrap, to win the shoulder, to win the shoulder to shoulder, to win the ball back, to really focus on possession and protecting and screening that defense. Eriksen's not going to screen that defense. Now, De Jong could technically, out of the two, De Jong's more naturally gifted at playing a little bit deeper. De Jong could drop and play in a back three. De Jong could drop and play as a number 6. But he's not a ball-winning player per se. I'm not saying that we need a pure Wilfred and Ndidi type role, but still, Eriksen and De Jong, it still leaves me with questions about our midfield. Joseph, you're saying I can see Bruno playing on the right with Eriksen playing number 10 because Bruno lacks the positional discipline. If Bruno plays anywhere, Bruno will probably have to be on the left-hand side, and it will be Jadon Sancho going to the right-hand side. I could genuinely see that as a possibility. I think it might be interesting to do a sort of potential predicted 11 next week. Let me know. Type it in the comments, yes or no, whether you'd like to see that as a video. We could do one this week and say, right, this is going to be my predicted 11 for our first game. And then let's see what happens when our first game happens and how close or far away I was, just according to how the rumors are going at the moment and how we're feeling. Jonathan, I see you there, buddy. You're saying Eriksen's scene is exactly what is needed. The deeper lying playmaker to score goals and a more disciplined than Bruno. Don't be surprised if Bruno's the first to have problems. Bruno really has to... Bruno's got to mature as a footballer to succeed under Erik Ten Hag. There's no doubt he's got ability. There's no doubt he's got tenacity. There's no doubt he's got quality and desire. But you have to know when to run. You have to know when to pass. You have to know when to hold. And that's where Bruno's emotional side of his game sort of takes over. Can be a great asset, but if you're overly emotional, you start making rash decisions. And Bruno's been the king of that last season. He has to rein that in a little bit. I mean, look, dreaming here, absolutely dreaming. But if we're talking about budgets, then we can't really talk about Neves and De Jong. It's just an unreasonable expectation, given what we've been told and sold so far this summer. The idea that De Jong and Neves could both come in, it's just not based in reality. I don't think so anyway. You're saying get Sangare and Lisandro after the De Jong deal ASAP Rocky. Hey, look, Sangare, you know he is. He's available for 37 million euros on a release clause. And I was actually going to do a video this weekend. I'm glad I held back on it. Jesus. I was going to do a video looking into the full story of Vitinha, the Porto midfielder we were linked with. Out of nowhere, Porto and PSG have agreed terms for him, according to Fabrizio Romano. So I'm glad I didn't embarrass myself in that video. Ray, you're saying Timber has got no fight if all he thinks about is Holland. In all honesty, United is a bigger step up than Ajax. Now, one thing I would say about this whole situation is this. I don't personally think that we can just point the finger at Louis van Gaal and say, oh, you're the reason he's doing this. At the age of 20, he doesn't have to make that move now. At the age of 20, he will still start for Ajax next year. He will be playing Champions League football. He won't be playing that at Manchester United. I can semi-understand it. And I mean, I don't think it's like a huge lack of ambition that he's showing. I think at his age, I can understand the desire to stay there for one more season. I'd love him to come to Manchester United, but he would be competing for a place. He wouldn't come in and be an automatic starter at Manchester United. And that's just the truth. And I think Louis van Gaal, not warning him, but I suppose warning him. Just giving him his own experience and saying, look, you need to be playing regular football to get into this team. I don't really think he's going to get into that team anyway. Not that they've got Van Dijk and De Ligt. Is Louis van Gaal really going to choose Yuri and Timber in a World Cup situation over those two? I doubt it. I doubt it very much. Roxy, you're watching from Ireland. Kevin, by the way. Nice to see you there. Appreciate the work. That's why I joined to become part of my morning routine. Keep her lit. You need a better morning routine. Actually, no, you don't. It's top quality content. Hey, look, man, as I said, this community is really growing. And as I said, it's the integrity of it. Everyone leaves good comments. It's good conversation. We talk about it. We talk things through. There's no trolling. It's good. I like it. So thank you very much for helping make this possible. And drop a like on the video. Isco on a free. Ed Woodward called. He said, yes, please. He said as well, Cesc Fabregas. You may as well get him in too. Nathan Collins from Burnley. That's a rogue one. No, I haven't watched enough of that. I personally don't think that no matter what Yuri and Timber does, I personally think no matter what he does, he's not getting in that Holland team for the World Cup unless he pulls up trees. Timber pulls up trees. Look at that. 10 out of 10. But I just think it's going to be De Ligt. And it's going to be Van Dijk. Of course it is. He might be third choice there, but then you've got the Bridge as well. They got a great squad. I'm not too frustrated about it. Oh no, that's a fucking lie. I'm frustrated. But also at the same time, as we're hearing stories about that, we're going to talk about his partner, Lisandro Martinez. Rolling Coast, you're saying, what's the Instagram handle? The Instagram handle is at United People's TV. Of course it is. Saragon. One thing I will say here, I never talk about subscribers, really. I never talk about growth. I just let it happen organically, naturally, and it's wicked to watch. But the growth on the channel has been incredible. I will say that, and I will say thank you to everyone for making it happen. I think what we've built here, what we're building is great, and we haven't made the signings yet. The summer with Man United is still that sleeping giant, and fuck it, we're going to wake up at some point, and we have to wake up this summer transfer window, and we will. It's got to be this week. It's got to be this week. We can't come here next Monday and speak about Erik Ten Hag and have pictures of him arriving at Carrington for his first training sessions, and we still haven't got any deals agreed. That can't happen. That can't happen. Louis plays with 3 at the back, not 2. Oh, there you go. Didn't know that. Well, maybe he will. Maybe he will then. I didn't actually realise he played at 5 at the back. Who knew? Apologies about that. Ketch saying, look, Sam, Netherlands play with back 3. Maybe you're right then. I don't know. But somebody else who Manchester United could well be going after. What's your take on this? Mark Provide saying that Manchester United are preparing an offer for Lisandro Martinez. First things first, don't be surprised. Of course, don't be surprised that he is looking towards what he knows at Ajax for his system that he's building. And Steve, I know you in the comments saying, "Oh look, Klopp didn't look towards Dortmund. He's a better manager." And I'm not using this to slate my man. The thing is weird. I think it's weird to try and take that away from Erik Ten Hag. Of course he knows him. He's built these players up. He's signed them and turned them into top-level stars. Lisandro Martinez, if you're looking at a profile of a player, this isn't just like, we've missed out on Yuri and Timber. Shit, what do we do now? Lisandro Martinez has a very similar player profile to Yuri and Timber. Extremely top quality, ball-playing centre-back. And I don't think it will be a bad signing at all. He's got a bit more experience under his belt. Ball playing, confident in possession, bringing him in and playing him behind De Jong, again, would have a great impact on this squad. But there's a comment down here from Jaden, which is absolutely spot on and absolutely true. Because you look at that and then you look at this coming out. It looks like, Sebastian Haller is going to be going to Borussia Dortmund, 33 million euros. It's a sort of offer that Ajax can't turn down. Nicolas Tagliafico, he's looking for a move away for around about 4 million euros, the left back. So it could well be that this summer, Ryan Gravenberch leaves. Nazem Mazraoui as well, the right back. And then maybe the left back in Tagliafico. Maybe a centre back in Lisandro Martinez. Maybe Edson Alvarez in midfield. And maybe Anthony up front. And Sebastian Haller at the same time as their coach, Erik Ten Hag, has gone. I feel sorry, man. I do feel sorry for Ajax. It seems like a bit of like you're dropping something into a pool of piranhas. It's an absolute free-for-all. Everybody going after their players. But it's just, I think teams are, I suppose, taking advantage of the fact that Erik Ten Hag has left. And it is a different situation at that club now. But I might do... should I do my video today on Lisandro Martinez? Maybe I will. Maybe I will, and I'll do the video on De Jong and Eriksen tomorrow. But this is really a... it's an insane summer for Ajax. Steve, you're down there saying it's not right. As I said, I really do feel for Ajax here. But bear in mind, this is not Erik Ten Hag and Manchester United just going after this whole Ajax squad and trying to rip it all apart. Sebastian Haller, that's going to be going to Dortmund. Tagliafico and Gravenberch, Mazraoui and Gravenberch, both of them went to Bayern Munich. Tagliafico, I don't know where he's going. We've obviously been linked with Yuri and Timber, but if that's not going to happen, we'd change elsewhere and we go to Lisandro Martinez. It's not both, it's one of. And Anthony, as far as we know, Anthony is a player that Erik Ten Hag really wants. As far as my opinion goes, I also believe that it's not a priority for what we need. And the midfield, as we can see from this snippet here, no, not that one there. Is it this one here? This is from Mike Rivage last night again, and it's spot on. Erik Ten Hag remains firm in his belief that investments in midfield is highly necessary in order to see a change in Manchester United's football, which has to be attacking based. Other positions need strengthening too, but the midfield is the most important issue at the club. I mean, geez, it really is. It has been for so long, I'm bored of saying it. But at least this summer, our midfield's getting sorted. It might not actually get sorted in the way that I envisaged it getting sorted. I don't know whether we're looking for that powerful central midfield partner. I think we're looking, by the way that the reports and the rumours have gone, it looks like we are on the hunt for two possession-based creative midfielders rather than one creative deeper line playmaker like Frenkie de Jong and then a partner to balance him, which is more typical of what he had at Ajax before. But maybe he's going to be slightly different at United. Maybe he thinks that Fred or McTominay could operate inside that role if and when they needed to. G, you're saying, look, I'm an Ajax supporter. Don't be sorry for us. We've got more gens coming. That's the beauty of Ajax. Ajax have this incredible ability of replacing. You look at that 2018-19 team that had Frenkie de Jong in, that had Donny van der Beek, and they had Matthias de Ligt. Generational talents. They can't possibly replace them. Erik Ten Hag stayed. Within a few years, they had an incredible team again. After a couple of smart signings like Anthony and like Alvarez and the likes of Timber coming through from the academy to replace de Ligt. They'll do it again. Ajax is an incredible club, and that's why their academy is so renowned. So all good luck to them. And you're saying that Anthony's a luxury signing, the icing on the cake, and that's something I do agree with. Isaac, you're saying that the midfield too, double pivot. Look, let's see what United do. I don't know how it's going to shape. For the life of me, I just don't know how it's going to shape up. I like to think that's more because the plans just aren't getting leaked, and we can make our assumptions. Because let's be honest, who was talking about Eriksen at the start of the season? When I drew up my list of free transfer signings, I talked about Eriksen. I said I could understand it, but at that point, I didn't really think, oh yeah, Eriksen's going to be the one that comes. We should definitely be all over Eriksen. I thought it was a supplementary rather than a necessity of a signing. Maybe I was completely wrong. Anthony, you're saying, look, do you think midfield and defense needing so much work that we might have to rely on Ronaldo as a sole striker? I think it's looking more likely than a possibility that we won't sign a striker this summer. Does fill me with fear somewhat. I think quite a lot of that can be negated with good management, good game management by Erik Ten Hag next year. Cristiano Ronaldo playing once a week in the Premier League, not playing in the League Cup. Is there even a League Cup this year? I don't know whether it might get postponed because of the World Cup. No Europa League games, not needed. Maybe play him in the first two, get 6 points on the board, and just let him chill because in October, we've got 9 games. 9 games in 31 days. Ronaldo can only play in those Premier League games, and even then, it's coming hard and fast. It's ridiculous. I fear for Ronaldo. Maybe Rashford can start operating as a sort of supplementary striker when we need him to. Maybe Martial will stay at the club. I don't know. I really, really don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but my gut is telling me we're not signing a striker. After the Nunez, I think that if Nunez was available at the right price, that deal would already be done. But he wasn't. Manchester United would not pay that. Right not to pay it. We don't have the funds this summer. It's just a reality check. I know that the idea of it would have been great, but we weren't paying 100 mil for a player who was going to play second fiddle to Ronaldo. Not with everything that we've got to do in midfield, in defence. It's just, you can't do it all in one summer. Erik Ten Hag has to rebuild this and do it properly and build his system. I don't know. But yeah, it worries me, the idea that we won't sign a backup for Ronaldo, but by the looks of it, at this moment in time, we won't be. Christopher and Nkunku, you notice how quiet all that story has gone? Over the last, 7 to 10 days? Have I even mentioned his name? Have we been talking about it once? No, all we've seen and heard is that he's going to be more likely to sign a new deal with RB Leipzig rather than leave the club this summer. Maybe leave next summer for 100 million. So let's find out there what goes on. Could talk about a false nine system. Erik Ten Hag is a system manager. Wouldn't say he's really played the false nine too much at Ajax. This obviously last season he had Sebastian Haller turned into more of a target man, but previously was it Tadic up? No, Tadic on the left. It was David Neres on the right. No, it was Tadic up front, and then it was Ziyech on the right and Neres on the left. One of those. So technically more of a false nine type role. But I don't know. I think it's all about game management with Ronaldo next season. If we play properly, play with creators from deep, and Ronaldo just operates as a number 9, he won't have to run around as much. And he'll be far, far better because of it. Speaking about everything else that's going on, a little tiny update here for you on Dean Henderson from Fabrizio Romano. Say Manchester United and Nottingham Forest are confident to get that deal done. Let's get it done, lads. Come on. Bored of it. Move on. Dean Henderson going out on loan. Ideally, I think we probably would have sold him for 20, 30 million. I've told you if City can sell, was it Gavin Bazunu? I think it was Gavin. Sold it like a keeper that no one really knows too much to Southampton for like 12, 15 million, then we should be getting 30 million plus for him. That's why I think so anyway. There's a couple of super chats in here. Let me quickly read these out before I move on. I don't want to miss them. People have sent them in. Joris, you're saying that playing a 3-4-3 like the Dutch side, Frenkie plays well in that. Yeah, we could play that. I can't imagine that he's going to be operating a 3 at the back at Manchester United on a permanent basis, but in certain games, he may well. Steve, you're saying that Nkunku did sign a new contract. I haven't seen the confirmation of that yet, but maybe he did. Are we really looking at a 19-year-old from the Championship that's going to come in and be not a replacement, but a backup to Cristiano Ronaldo? I don't think we are. I think we're looking at him as a future signing. Estevao, Neres linked to Benfica to replace Darwin Núñez. I think that's already happened, isn't it? Bjorna, you're down there talking about Rashford, saying that he's dropped his vocation, he stepped up training, hope he comes back in good shape. It's true. He looks like he's working hard. And Rashford, I'm backing Rashford, man. I'm backing Rashford to be one of the players that really, if he doesn't improve under Erik Ten Hag, I'll be so surprised. I will be so surprised. I think I saw quite a bit of comparisons to Raheem Sterling to Marcus Rashford in terms of overall talent. And they were saying that, look, if you compare the difference that's happened between Rashford and Sterling, it's the coaches that they've worked under, and the idea that they've known the pattern and the system they're doing, and they just keep working and get better and better and better. And Marcus Rashford, of course, broke in under Louis van Gaal, and then went to Jose Mourinho, and then went to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and then went to he's gone all these different styles, and he's operated as a left winger, as a centre forward, as a supporting striker, as a number 10 on the right hand side. He's never been able to sort of hone his game to one particular style. Marcus Rashford, the biggest criticism I would have for his game is that he just has his head down too often. He needs to be able to lift his chin up, see things before they happen, and be able to make real-time decisions based off the back of that. Instead of just putting his head down, using his athleticism and running at someone. Because that's what he lost last year. He didn't even have that. He was running at someone, but couldn't skip past them. He was running at someone and then ran into them, dropped his shoulders, and then lost the ball. But that absolutely, I think, Marcus Rashford, Bruno Fernandes, we're looking at players who are going to improve next year. There's plenty of them. But Marcus Rashford's got one more season. If Rashford doesn't come through and prove himself next season, I think he will be sold in the summer. And I think United should and could get a very, very good price for him. Now, I'm going to go down here and read a few more of your comments before we talk about this Richard Arnold situation, because I really want to get your input on what's gone on. Rashford can't play possession-based football. I think that's more of an assumption than anything that's been proven. Let's find out. I don't think any of these players at Manchester United, you could say with any confidence, they can play possession-based football, because none of them can. None of them have. We always play hot potato. Man United's best football post-Fergie has been transitional, counter-attacking football. Really quick movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, ball, goal. Brilliant. And it's been great when it's worked. But rarely, it's not saying we haven't, but rarely have we done like a 20, 30 pass team move that's led to a goal. Just by good football, we've just broken through a team. That is one thing that massively will change under Erik Ten Hag. Joseph, what are you saying, sir? I hear that Leon is interested in buying Bai. If so, I'd look for a swap for 10 for Maxence Kakere. I have no idea who he is, but maybe I can have a look. Again, slide into my DMs, Joe, with the address, and I'll try and take a look at that player too. Josh, watching from Australia. How you doing, buddy? Nice to see you there, joining and supporting as a subscriber. Estevo, every single player should improve this season on the back of the season we just had. Well, that's a harsh truth, isn't it? But also at the same time, there are just players that I really feel will. This is it. Erik Ten Hag is what a lot of these players have complained about for a couple of years. From Ole Gunnar Solskjaer not having the tactical acumen to be a top-level boss, to Ralph Rangnick and his methods that people disagree with, and X, Y, Z, and all the holes that have been picked in all our managers from Mourinho, Solskjaer, and Rangnick. Erik Ten Hag, he's the full package. He's the man who's got that temperament. He's the man who's got the respect. He's the man who's got the system. He's the man that's got the tactical understanding. He's got everything. And he's proven it. And there's nothing that these players can do or say that will make him change his system. It's either my system and you play it properly and you adapt to it and you get fit enough for it. Because these players are going to die in pre-season. I mean, they won't die, but they are going to start doing the bleep test back at school. They are going to be thrown up on the side of the pitch. Well, they probably should be. I think they will be. It's going to be a shock to the system for a lot of them, that's for sure. Bruno could play the Tadic false 9 role. Now, you could say that, says Aaron. That's not the worst thing in the world. Erik is the Ajax Pep. No, Erik is the Dutch Erik. Erik is his own person. He's not a V2 of anybody else, and that's something that he's made very clear in all the interviews that he's done right back at the start. He's like, he's been influenced by Pep Guardiola with what they did at Bayern Munich and what he watched and learned. He's been influenced by Johan Cruyff and what happened there, but he's his own version, and that's what he wants to do, is make his own legacy. And that's why I'm confident that what he will do when he comes in, he can't afford to let United be a shit show again for his own legacy. And if you might say that might be a selfish point of view, but it's in that situation where it's a win-win situation. Because if Ten Hag wins and his system works and United play well, then United win. Our football improves. We become better as a football club. I think both of those two things can happen at the exact same time. Sigmund is saying, look, Pellistri, do you expect to see him in the first team this year? I expect to see him in the preseason tour. Other than that, I can't say with any confidence I'm going to see him in the team next year. But he looks really like he should be. I think so anyway. He should be in that team next year. Can we get a little excited, please? I'm sure Frenkie de Jong will sign by the end of the week. And all this stuff that's gone on and everything that we've had to watch tonight, we've been the bridesmaid so far in the transfer window, but we're going to be the bride in the next couple of weeks. We really are. And if we're not, Jesus, no, it's not a possibility. We will. The signings will be made in this next couple of weeks. I know it's been frustrating, but imagine that, right? And this is what I've been saying all along. Imagine by the 4th of July, let's say 2 weeks. 2 weeks from now, 4th of July, we've got, boom, two signings wrapped up. Frenkie de Jong deal has been completed. And I don't know, a deal has been confirmed for Christian Eriksen and the offer's gone in for Lisandro Martinez. All of a sudden, we're going to be like, okay, things feel a little bit different. We just need that Frenkie de Jong deal to go through to release that pressure. Just, psh, it's like a pressure cooker right now. That's what United are. We just need to let that little bit of steam out and everything will calm down a little bit. That's what I think so anyway. But look, as I said, I've waited a little bit and we talked a lot about transfers. I told you it was going to be a busy show. We could literally talk here for 2 hours probably today. But I want to speak about this, okay? I've given my opinion on what happened in my video yesterday. I'll be honest, when I did that video yesterday, I didn't actually realize that more than one video was released. A little bit poor on my part, I'll be honest. But I didn't follow the guy on Twitter and it wasn't being shared anywhere else. My overriding feeling towards this is I'm really happy this has happened. I think this is a significant moment for Manchester United fans in our fight against the Glazers. The fact that we've got the CEO of our club to come down to the pub, to meet the lads there and to have a conversation for an hour and a half, an open conversation. If you can't see the positives in that alone, then you're looking in the wrong place. But the thing that has really pissed me off is how much those videos being leaked have undermined the power of that conversation. And it's an extremely short-sighted thing. Whoever it was, I don't know which one of these lads, but let's be honest, there's one with one phone in his hand. It's such a fucking short-sighted thing to do, to leak those videos. Because there's a short-term win and gain, which has already gone and done now. We've heard from Richard Arnold. We've heard him say that we fucking burned through cash. We've heard him with his shade towards Ed Woodward. We've heard him say that the budget is there for the signings. Anything that could have been gained from those videos being released has now already been gained. And that's what I mean about it being short-sighted. What the 1958 have done so far with every protest they've led, with every protest they've organized, it's worked. It has worked bit by bit by bit. And I think it must be really fucking frustrating for them that these videos were leaked, because it undermines the concept of integrity, undermines the concept of building relationships. And I tell you what, man, I don't care what anybody says. I think Richard Arnold came across very, very well in those conversations that were leaked. You can talk about having, it was scripted. He knew what he was going to say. It's like, Jesus, man, like even the best politician in the world can't go in and have an hour and a half scripted conversation. Some of the stuff you think that he would have said stuff like that about, what, do you really want me to make the signings? Does that not ring a bell? Do you really think he would say something like that if you thought he was being filmed? It just frustrates me. I think that the way that you got to look at this, right? Richard Arnold, I think, got the tip off from his landlord. It's his local pub, and all these United fans turn up. Of course, the landlord of the pub's gonna be like, Richard, man, like, this is happening. He could have sat in his house. He could have rang the police. He could have rang United. He could have rang anybody else and told them, there's a group of United fans. I fear for myself. I'm here with my wife and my kids. I fear that they might do something. He didn't. He went down to the pub. He met them face on, bought them all a pint, and sat down and had a conversation with them. And that is such a fucking dramatic difference from Ed Woodward. Remember what happened with Ed Woodward? They turned up at his house. There was nobody at the house. The son was already there, took pictures of them. Somehow, that was really, really odd and really weird. The police were called in, and all of a sudden, United fans were vilified, and the finger got turned around. And all of a sudden, it was pointing towards the United fans who were doing all the wrong. Well, that's in reality, that's not true. The reason that the fans are protesting is as a consequence of what the club has done. And now, by doing that, by leaking the conversations, it allows the narrative to be switched around a little bit. It allows the finger to be pointed back towards United fans for breaking the trust, for breaking integrity, for filming him under the table covertly. It wasn't very covert, though, by the way. Surely saw the phone. But yeah, Richard Arnold, spot on for doing that. And I hope that this leak doesn't stop any future conversation from happening. And I think, as I said, I'm just pissed off that I think a lot of the good work that's led to this conversation even being possible has been undermined by those videos being leaked, man. Really has. And it's a really short-sighted thing to do. Gungshi, thank you very much for always, man, for supporting the channel. You know how much I love you, man. Look at that. I'm getting all lovely this morning. Must be the sunshine. I think Arnold did the right thing on the weekend by taking the initiative to engage directly with those fans. I couldn't imagine Woodward doing it, and it's pity about the leak. I completely and utterly agree with you there, man. I think it's such a shame because, as I said, without that leak, the story would have been so much stronger and probably the first step in a different direction in terms of communications with Richard Arnold and our CEO than what we've had before as fans. Just pure silence. And he's saying, Sam, the negatives are possibly trust from Arnold and the grief it may cause him with the Glazers. The positives are clarity, but also how much Arnold's stock has grown with fans. That's power. Of course, that's power. Mate, you think the Glazers would like... I see in this... the Glazers will not like that video being out. They will not like it. Richard Arnold took a risk. Richard Arnold took a risk to try and start something different with the fans. And one fucker has undermined all of that. on his own accord, with his own ideas and thoughts. He goes, this is what we should be doing. And it's bad. Like, I can see a couple of comments here about the 1958, right? Let me pull this up. This is a statement that they released over the weekend, right? It's what they said. We are sure that everyone is aware of the events over the last 24 hours. Clarify our stance. The 1958 are not in this for pats on the back or recognition. We go down here and say, look, whilst we condone any fan to act on their own volition to remove our owners, as long as it's peaceful, we won't stand for a breach of our core values and a betrayal of those. This individual was more than aware of what we stand for. And I've seen something that's gone on this weekend here about the racist remarks from somebody who was involved in the 1958, and they've taken quick and swift action to make sure that they distance themselves from that, because that's not something that they stand for. It's something they stand against, and they've done well with that statement. They really have, to go in there and get in there as soon as possible to make things very clear, and that they needed the clarity on that situation. Honestly, man, like the 1958, we've seen everything with 2005, with the green and gold movement. We've seen everything. No, sorry, not with 2005. 2005, before they took over, before the Glazers took over Manchester United, and we saw what went on there. And we've seen everything in 2010 with the green and gold movement. And we've seen everything that happened after the Super League collapse. But this, from the 1958, in terms of timing, in terms of Manchester United making all the changes behind the scenes, now is the strongest we've ever been as a fan base in terms of having our voice heard and maybe it having an actual impact. And that's why that is such a bad fucking move to leak those videos. And I hope it doesn't change that conversation. I hope it doesn't close doors that may have been opened otherwise, because that will be a real shame. I think it really, really will be. That's kind of my 2 cents on the situations. And I've been like ranting a little bit there, I suppose. I hate to use the word rant. By the way, you'll notice I've never used the word rant in a headline on a video. I think it's just annoying. But let me read a few of your comments out here. And of course, this one from Estevo. Thank you very much, buddy. Appreciate the support, man. You're saying, look, even though I'm glad Arnold faced the fans, I'm against the covert recording and leaking of it. It surely deters the man from doing similar things in future. And all that was leaked was info most of our fans already knew. You're spot on there, Estevo. As I said, it's a very, very short-term gain from releasing that video. And the short-term gain of that has now disappeared. It's just another story. It's just another headline. We've got money to make signings. Oh, good. We've wasted money. Oh, brilliant. All that momentum is now switched. And will Arnold expose himself to that again? Probably not. You can be sure that RA won't do anything like that again now that the video has been leaked. I don't think so either, Al. I really, really don't. JP, you're saying, I think Richard Arnold going to speak to fans is good, as it shows he understands and knows what's wrong with the club. Now the recordings come out. That's the crap part. The trust has been broken already. We had Ed Woodward for like fucking 8 years, man. I don't know how many goddamn years. So many years with that snake who sat in his pit and never popped his head out. Never acknowledged fans. Never went down and met fans and had a conversation with fans. He would sit there and just say, we can do things in the transfer market that people will be jealous of. Ooh, Schweinsteiger. Ooh, what signing he's going to be. And he tried to sign us up to European Super League. We get someone like Richard Arnold in, who has said from day one that he wants to delegate, has since delegated. And now this has happened. It's just annoying, man. It's just annoying. Steve, you're down here. Now, this is a bit of a contentious subject, I suppose. It's saying it's morally wrong to turn up at his house. They should be waiting outside his office. Morally wrong? I don't think it's morally wrong. And if it's peaceful, then it's peaceful. I don't think that's unreasonable at all. It's the same. What is it, morally wrong for any paparazzi to turn up outside someone's house? Yeah, it probably is, actually, when you say it like that. I don't think them going there to have a peaceful protest was morally wrong. And if you're doing that, then again, you're turning the conversation away from everything that's led to the point of those fans feeling the necessity to peacefully protest. And you're pointing the fingers back towards the fans instead of the people who have caused it. And again, that's what I mean. It changes the narrative on that. Look, it's not, and I've seen people try this, and I've said it. Don't fucking say this, people. Don't try and use the word spin. Don't be so goddamn stupid. was a natural conversation. And it was a smart decision, I think, by Richard Arnold to take that risk, to go down and to open that conversation. Richard Arnold would have gained respect from those inside 1958. And I think he's gained a lot of respect from me. I think he's gained a lot of respect from United fans by doing that. But it's such a shame that now is being switched into a different narrative because an idiot released the videos. That's my 2 cents on it, right? And you're saying, Sam, can we honestly say a trust has been broken? I suggest there was never trust in the first place. Good faith. No, Arnold did ask them not to film. It's already been released by The Athletic. No, I would disagree completely. A trust has been broken there because what you're doing there is you're linking what happened previously to what currently exists. Arnold wasn't Ed Woodward before. He wasn't in the position that he's in before. Therefore, it's something brand new. And therefore, at the first opportunity, there's been a breach of trust there. I think so anyway. Refreshing to see a CEO who cares as much as I said, I personally think he came across really well in his tone, in what he said and how he spoke. It felt genuine. Either he's a brilliant actor or there was a genuine aspect to that. I'm not saying he's the God's gift to CEOs because he's not. He really isn't. But I don't know. It's as I said, that I know that we're not the first ones to break trust, but if we're talking about something new, about something different, about this new direction that United is going in, then we have at the first point. As a consequence of how pissed off we are before, we've taken that into this, not new relationship, but this new chapter. And it's unfortunate, right? It really is unfortunate. But I'll end on that in a moment. No doubt that I will probably be speaking about this again in the future. I think it's such a significant moment and situation that I don't think it will just get brushed under the carpet. And let's see what else develops. I'm going to be speaking about it probably on the podcast tonight. So if you want to hear a bit more information on it, make sure you follow the podcast. It'll be released tomorrow at 7 a.m. But let me do a quick run through and an update for anybody who's just joining in. Please, if you are new, make sure you subscribe to United People's TV. It'll only take you 1 second. And drop a like on the video as well. I'm looking forward to we've had a lot of conversations. Last week was so frustrating here on the channel. It was frustrating for me. It was frustrating for you. But this week will be different, man. This week will be different. Wisdom, you're saying, look, you promised to do a video of a De Jong alternative. You have to do the video, even if there is no other. I've already got it prepped. It's in the background. But I haven't done it quite yet because there's just been other things that have taken over. But as a quick update for everybody, the update this morning here about Frenkie de Jong is the fact that Manchester United are going to be going in with a second offer this week, according to Spain, reports from Spain, 75 million euros plus variables. At this point, I don't think United really should be fucking around. There's no point. Go in there, go in strong, get it done with de Jong now. Let's move on. Really, let's move on. We spoke about de Jong. We spoke about Christian Eriksen, how apparently he's going to be part of this new look midfield, which not that I'm saying that he's not a good midfielder, but he wouldn't have been first on my list. That's for sure. We spoke about the midfield. We spoke about Timber. We spoke about the Timber deal. We spoke about Lisandro Martinez. I'll probably do a full story on Lisandro Martinez maybe for the story today, because that's a little bit, that's a new curveball. That's come out just today. Martinez to United instead of Timber. What would that mean? I'll compare the players, take a look at them, and explain how, look, they're two players in a very similar sort of profile. It's not as if Lisandro Martinez is a significantly different player to Yuri and Timber. They are very similar. And then I spoke about how badly Ajax are getting ripped apart this summer. Spoke about Dean Henderson, and then we had quite an in-depth conversation about Richard Arnold. I told you it was going to be a busy show, and I wasn't lying. If anybody's got any more questions, last 2 minutes here, I'll let you fire your questions down in the comments, and I'll try and read a few of them out. Kingswell, you're saying, look, can we please use James Garner? He will be in this squad next year. I think that's guaranteed if Dean Henderson goes to Forest on loan, because I think a Premier League club gets 2 loan spells per year. I think. Are they really going to use both of them on United players? I don't know. It would seem a bit of an interesting one. Told you about Martinez 5 weeks ago. Why new news? Because Man United haven't really gone in for him. Yes, he was a name that was on the list. It was a name that has never really gone past being just a name on the list. But if we're going to go in with an offer for him, that will be a big indicator that we have shifted away from Yuri and Timber and feel that this summer, at the very least, he's not there. Gary, and I see there joining as a member. I think I remember your name before, Gary. I'm not sure. But if I haven't, let me know where you're watching from. New podcast has been recording tonight. Lots of you mentioning a name in the comments here. Evan Nilsson. And what's going on here? Don't know who Evan Nilsson is. Who is Evan Nilsson? It's for Auto. Right. Okay. I will have a look at that and I'll bring that maybe tomorrow. Maybe I'll speak about it later on today. I don't know. You can only loan one player from each club. There you go, Joseph. That'll be right there. Steve, you're saying, how do you think Ronaldo will utilize Sam? Do you think we'll get another striker? He will be happy to be rotated. Yeah, I do think he would be to a certain degree, but I think it's basically going to be Ronaldo will be used in the Premier League and rested rested wherever possible elsewhere. If there's a big knockout game in the Europa League, then he'll come in for that. He doesn't have to play the group stage games. He doesn't have to go to, like, I don't know, deep Greece on a Thursday and then play Arsenal away on a Saturday or some weird stuff. That won't happen. I don't think Arnold's going to get sacked for speaking out. The thing that we've heard from Manchester United, a spokesperson saying, look, we're happy with the conversation. We're happy with what you had. So as far as we know, they're not too annoyed about it. But I tell you what, the Glazers will not be happy with that conversation. I don't think so anyway. Jason, you're going there. You're saying, look, I still believe. I still have faith. Great signings incoming. And people are like, look, man, we're not going to make any signings. I'll be like, we're going to do it anyway. Yes, Barry's back. Come on, people. Look, let's end on a Barry note. And look, I will be back later today with a video either on Lisandro Martinez or De Jong and Eriksen. I might push the De Jong and Eriksen one to tomorrow. There's a lot of talking points. It's important to really hyper-focus on the most important ones. I'll be back here tomorrow morning, and I'll be here every day this week. And if I'm not here on an extra live stream, confirming a bid, confirming a deal has been done, I'll be extremely surprised this week. I will be. And then the frustration really will kick over into next week. But thank you very much, everyone, for joining in. I told you it was a busy show. It was a busy show. But enjoy your Monday, and make sure you check out the video at lunchtime. I'll see you soon.